It's got a little bit of damage down here. It's got a little bit of damage down here. And here. And it's a little pushed in there. I probably won't have to do much with this, I don't think. I can't really get in there, but we might just have to. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll have a decent look at it later on. Might just have to come along and just knock the worst of it. Oh, it's already been cut open, this thing, hasn't it? Yeah, it's already got some windows in it. So yeah, I might actually repair those and do a little bit of work, and then we might, we might fill those holes. So it's not so ugly. Not that you see it, but at least I fill them. Right, we'll weld a couple of patches in there. We might be going to do a little hammer and dialing and make it a wee bit better. And yeah, then fix those patches in the backside. Yeah, we'll catch you later on. Right, morning guys, welcome to Saturday morning. So, we will carry on from where we left off yesterday, which is a little clean up here in the welding, clean this patch up, put back in, weld it there. Obviously we'll try and clean up as much as we can with the surface. Stop going weird, phone. Sorry, get shifted you. Yeah, so we'll put the patch in, try and clean up the surface best we can, and then we'll get this prepped for that rust treatment. But I think what I'll do is I'll get this burnt in. I'll leave the doors for now. I'm going to go over there and start cleaning all that stuff up. So Monday morning, I'm hoping, or something like that, I'll mix up some meat and we'll get all that stuff etched so it's ready for a skin and body filler from there. But yeah, we'll get this patch and welded back in. I think it'll be okay. There's a couple of little, I can feel imperfections, but I'm just trying to work out whether any of those are too high. If they are too high, I can always just knock them down a little bit later on. I think it should be okay. One of me mark there, I might just tap while I'm still at maybe access in there. Just a couple little bits there now. Right now I know where it is. You're wondering why I keep switching between these two hammers. This one here is almost dead flat. And this one here, it's got just a very slight bigger crown on it. It's bugger all. It's almost nothing, but it's very slightly fuller. This one isn't perfectly flat, and this one is almost flat. There's bugger all difference in it, but it is. This one's very slightly flatter. This one's very slightly more domed. It's like most things. Like I'd actually like a few more hammers. You know, slightly more curved, so you can, when you come in behind some things, you get a little bit more shape sometimes. That's why Arco's, if you watch Outlaw Ridge, Arco, Minnesota Outlaw Kustom, but he calls his channel Outlaw Ridge. Why he's got 100 fucking, or 200 or 300 or 400 hammers, what he's got, because they're all slightly different radiuses, and he's tuned some of them, shaped some of them differently. You know, some of these got a bit more crown on, and some of them got a bit more rolled edges, and you know, all sorts of things. You know, they're all got different ends, and they're all being shaped differently for doing different things. So you know, it's just something you get over time. Picking stuff up, and as you said, you know, it's something I don't do actually a lot of, and I wish I just had the opportunity to do a bit more, was just pop around some of the garage sales and stuff like that, and just see if I can pick up a bit more of this sort of stuff. You don't always find it though, but be nice to. Where's that other dolly? Actually, I'll put it in. Long enough. Get it down there low enough. Let's pull it down a little. So it's got like it's almost like a little sharp dint out there. For some reason I can feel it. Probably come off when I do a little bit of panel filing and stuff like that too, so but anyway, we'll find a patch that was on there. I'll spray a little bit more gel in there. Spray a bit more of this in there, around that panel. Before we seal it up. Yeah, had a bit of a hole in that corner. It was a bit broken and split and a few little bits falling out. So I just added a little square metal in here just to fill the gap. It's got a crack that runs down here. So I welded it up. And you sort of just built the corner back up and we'll clean her up and grind her up. That'll be okay. It's not the ideal way to do it, but sort of just cracked and broken and split, so we'll just weld it back up, clean her up, and we'll spray a bit of shit down into that corner. And yeah, hopefully I can just wander along here and just weld this crack up until we get to about here. Probably. Right, so as you can see, I've sprayed a whole heap of that goo down into the door. When I was pointing it point down here into that piece where I welded up, that run down into that corner, and I'll just run it down into that corner. I'm going to leave that now, so I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to grab that grinder, one of those, probably even a wire brush, and take all those outside those fenders, get them all cleaned back up. I might take a couple of those older Scotch-Brites as well, some of the ones I've been already using. Not these ones that are just a wee bit worn still. Use these up first, I've got another brand new one on that one. I just started using it. So you will run over all those with that. I might actually put my mask on with that shit. Because it is like an acid shit. Well, it's bad enough with the dirt and rust and shit flying around there. I should have my mask on for that too, but I'll definitely do it for that stuff. We'll clean all that up, and then we'll see where we're at by the time I've finished cleaning all that up. That'll be getting on by a bit. By the time I've done all those and got them all cleaned up, hopefully I don't run out of Scotch-Brite pad discs. Worst comes to worst, I'll shoot it down Monday and grab a couple more. I'll get the missus too or something. Because they're frickin' about 3 times the price out here. I'm close to it anyway. So yeah. I think that'll do in there anyway. And we'll come back to these other doors. I really need to get some new grip for the frickin' sandblaster. And throw that in there and give these a media blast on the inside. That'll clean them up fairly good. And then I can shake all the shit out, and then we can treat them a bit better. Just see if we can get that rusty frickin' mess off the best we can. Like I could take them to the sandblaster and get them to whoop over them, I guess, for a few minutes. We'll see. It would make a better job. It would make a better. It's one and a half dozen the other. You know, like I'm either spending time doing it in there, or I'm paying somebody to do it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll work it out later on. But anyway, we'll get over here and we'll start on the stuff. Right. So basically, these 2 front fenders cleaned up. I will go over them with obviously wax and grease remover and a hand Scotch-Brite. Make sure they are truly clean. I've actually got to do a little hammer and dolling here. Forgot to fix that corner being bent. And same with this one. I've pretty much got it done. I've got to whip them over from the edge and just make sure I've got all the edge, that far edge. Bastards of things to clean up. Oh, I'm not going to do that piece. So I'm about to start these 2 pieces. I'm probably going to get 1 or maybe 2 done. Oh, yeah, but stuff is just an absolute bastard to get off. I don't know what's so bad. I'm sure when I did that it wasn't quite so bad, but maybe it was. I might have taken this differently, I don't know. It's good stuff, that frickin' shit, it definitely neutralises all the rust, but oh, it's such a mongrel of shit to get off. It goes almost gluey. Kinda. It was a real pain in the ass. When I was in Australia, there was a stuff called Antiox, which is a bit similar. And I watched a guy. It's actually unfortunate. He's got a YouTube channel, but I don't think he's put anything on it for, I don't know, frickin' probably 5, 6, maybe even 7 years. He'll probably be at least that, because he hadn't. When I watched his videos, I was in Australia, so we're talking 2018. I don't think he'd put anything out for a while at that point. Maybe. It mightn't be quite that long, it might be 5 years sort of thing. But he was using a product called Antiox over there, and it didn't look as terrible to clean up. May have been. Because I tried that product in Australia, and it seemed to work all right. But it was a bit like this too, I guess, but man, it'd been just nice to have a product that you could paint on there and just wasn't such a bitch to get off. Yeah, probably really should have got the guy to etch these after he blasted them, I guess. So they weren't quite so difficult to deal with afterwards, but should be right. We'll get it cleaned up. So yeah, I'm going to start taking one of these. Get one of these cleaned up, and then yeah, we'll go from there. And I'm probably going to run out of day before then. Saturday, so I only normally spend half a day down here. I could spend longer, we'll see how we get on. But I'll move one of these, turn this one probably around into the shade a little bit. And start knocking all the shit off that. Right, so I've cleaned that one up. I was going to do this one, but some of this is still wet down here. So I might leave it till Monday or some other time, because if it's wet, it just kind of smears it out, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll just let that cure off properly. And then we'll clean it off later on. I'm hoping that my wax and grease remover, actually I might end up using paint thinners and a Scotch-Brite again, and then wax and grease remover. I'm hoping this fucking dye turns up, because I went online last night to see if it had shipped yet, and then it was a pain in the ass. Because I paid it out of my normal personal bank account, not of the business bank account, because I already had my card loaded onto Amazon. I was like, I'll just transfer a bit extra cash across and bought it through my card. But then obviously the missus went to town and that money hadn't cleared from Amazon, which is a pain in the fucking ass. So I didn't send it, so I had to put more money over to the bank account to clear it. So yeah, I'm hoping that the frickin' payment clears and then they get the frickin' thing sent. Hang on, hold on. Well, because I'm about to go home anyway, but yeah, I'm hoping they get that bead roll dye set. Frickin' just get it paid for and get it frickin' sent. Pain in the ass. Yeah, I didn't realise. I thought that money would have cleared and they would have sent the, just and then sent it, but obviously they didn't clear it. Like they hadn't cleared it 3 days later, which is an absolute pain in the ass. I don't know why. After I ordered it, what day did I order it? I think Tuesday. So yeah, last night, which was Friday. There was an email come through. So your frickin' payment hasn't gone through. I was like, what? I ordered it fucking like 3 days ago. Why didn't it clear it then? So yeah, obviously in between times, Mrs. had bought stuff and then the money wasn't in the account because I hadn't put more money over from the business account. I should have just paid it through the fucking business account, dumbass, but anyway. I already had my card loaded from personal account, so I couldn't be bothered resetting it up, if you know what I mean. Putting another card onto it. So yeah. So hopefully it'll clear now and I'll fucking send it. I'll check it when I get home, but that's a pain in the ass because it's now frickin' more days behind. So I want them here so I can get that stuff finished. I don't mind it. There's going to be a few days sanding and blocking and priming, but the sooner I can get that done, the sooner I can get that stuff finished. I don't think it'll screw me up in the end result. It's just those pieces will be probably the last couple of bits that I get finished. Anyway, so I'm going to bugger off. Yeah. And I'll decide what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Right. Morning troops. So, I think I'm going to finish Scotch-Briting up some of these panels. Getting the, what do you want to call it, that rust neutralizer off. That stuff. Metal conditioner. Rust remover, metal conditioner. Finish getting that cleaned off. But that will need to do. And the two rear guards here to do that I've painted with this stuff. I'll move these other fenders out of the road, or mud guards and bits and pieces out of the road, so I can get this other stuff up here. And then I'll work out what I'm going to do next. I'd like to try and get that motor and box back outside and get that maybe soaked down with some of that acid somehow. Trying to do there. I wonder if I go right in that pump bottle. I've got a one of those old, pump up little spray bottles. I don't know whether I can maybe pour a bit of it into that. I don't know. And spray it on to sort of give it a soak. And then get my pressure washer set back up again. And then hose it off a couple of times. Yeah, I'd like to do that at some point. Just trying to think which way around I'm going to do it, because I need to get each of these pieces too. I think, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? I think I'll get this stuff cleaned up. At least then I can lay these panels out a wee bit later on for each, and then yeah, get those pieces prepped up for painting. I haven't got paint here yet, so it's not super critical, but I'd like to at least get them cleaned up so they're ready to paint. Try and work out where I'm going to do that. That might have to be outside too. Gearbox I can probably do in here, but the motor I'll probably have to do outside because I have to sit it on that pallet somewhere, or sit it down on something or something, so I can paint it and then maybe just lift it up to mist around the bottom of the sump. Yeah. The doors to finish off, clean them up. At some point I'm going to go get some grit from that blasting cabinet, because that stuff's pretty hopeless now. It really needs it. It's got too much dust and dirt and shit in it. Because I wouldn't mind just trying to put those doors in there. Maybe get a little light sandblast around the insides of them, just to try and clean up a little bit better than they are, obviously. And then yeah, we'll use that spray on rust shit to do the insides. Actually, I might even just paint with that. Oh yeah, I've got to be careful with that rust conditioner, because it's something that you can't get back into. Yeah, anyway, we'll get to clean this stuff up anyway, otherwise I'll be sitting here waffling for 2 minutes. Righty, so I got these things scrubbed back fairly well, I think. I've wiped them down with prep wipe as well and a Scotch Brite. I want to try and get some mixed up shortly-ish, but I'm kind of trying to do two birds with one stone. It's actually a pain in the ass. I had some almost like fog here before, and it was quite cool. And I started dragging this out to spray this down with that this stuff here. They've changed the name of it. I'm not sure why, but you can actually see the old name and behind it, Strip Clean, but it's called Span now. So if you're in New Zealand, yeah, look at these guys. I don't know whether there must be in other parts of the world, country, but yeah, this shit is really good for if you want to really get something like just absolutely totally clean. You can see all the guns running off it. So we've, like the owner, he scraped a lot of the thick shit off and cleaned it down with degreaser and everything and got it down pretty well. But this stuff here will just get everything off. I might have to do it twice just to make sure it is really clean. But after this, basically, we'll be, like I said, tape out what we don't want to tape, what we don't want green. We'll take a few bits off and it'll get painted, and then we'll have to mask out maybe some of the stuff that we want to paint black again. That you can't get everything and respray some of it. But yeah, I just sprayed it in around there, sort of giving it probably 3 or 4. I don't fill that spray bottle up fully, but it might have been sort of 2/3 full, so I'll probably use a third of it. just going round and round and round and giving it a really good soaking from all different angles. So I don't want to leave it too long because that sun's going to come out and get hot again. So I'm going to crank up this thing, spray it off, try and spray it this way at least so I don't get it in there. Because I didn't want to put it on that and try and drag it out because I can't do it by myself. So I just laid some boards out here so at least I can pull the wheels on. Maybe another couple of boards out here might have been better, or some longer boards so I can push that further. I might do that later if it becomes an issue, but yeah, I'll just let it hang and I'll spray it off a couple of times, then I'll soak it again. So I'm about to crank that up and we'll wash it off and see what comes off. But it's got that real paint strippery, what do you want to call it, oven cleaner smell. But yeah, hopefully, you know, a couple of decent wash downs with this and it'll be as clean as it's gonna get, if you know what I mean, without putting it through a hot tank or stripping it down completely and putting it through hot tanks and all that sort of bullshit. This is about as good as it's gonna get. It should be fine. Who knows, like, you know, time will tell, but I know we did those tractors with it. If you go back through the earlier videos, like back into 2020, Dad and I did some work on some old tractors that Dad was already working on before I come home. Thinking we were going to the US, helped him do some tractors, painted them. We washed them down with that. We washed the motor down on that thing with this as well. Not quite like this, I brushed it on because I only had a little bit left. Then wash it down with some brake clean a couple of times because we did it on the bench. It was kind of a different situation, but same sort of thing. And it leaves a pretty good key. So yeah, and then when you wash it off, it's basically, maybe apart from the odd bit of loose stuff, it should be ready to paint. Basically, you know, you can't do much else, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we'll give this a wash down. Right, so I just emptied the bottle onto it. That one? Yeah, that one. I was going to say because my other one's hanging on wherever it is. Doesn't matter. With me, over there with my prep wipe. So yeah, you can see how much of a difference that's made. Like, it was pretty clean before, and it still doesn't really look a lot cleaner, but it is a lot cleaner. Like, you can look how clean that flywheel was. And originally, that was just thick and grease. Like, he's obviously scraped a lot of it off, but it didn't even look that clean before. Like, it comes up like shiny metal almost, if you know what I mean. Look at the sump on this side, like, there's still a bit of shit down there. We haven't quite got loose yet, but you know, you can see where it's still running, the crap's running off it. So hopefully, yeah, this clean will be enough. Or I'm going to make it enough anyway. It should be pretty good. You know, we might have to just run over that with a wire wheel or something before we paint it, just if there is. Right, so we're giving that gearbox a second go down. I'm just going to sit it down on the ground and just let it dry for a while, and then I'll pick it back up later on so I can close the door. I tried spraying this with that acid cleaner. That wasn't the best idea. You see it's flashing. I'm going to have to attack that pretty quick after lunch. But I'm actually going to go into town, and I rang the guy and he said, I can look at that freaking paint colour, you know, on 3 or 4 different screens and whatever, off photos and whatever. He's better off just to come in here and we'll mix it up while you wait. So I'm going to do that because I know Mrs. has ordered some shit and she's got to come in and pick it up. So I'll get her to drop me off there. I'll get that paint while she's going and go pick the other stuff up or whatever, something like that anyway. And then we'll come back out. So yeah, we'll do that. So we'll probably see you after lunch sometime, or I'll have to take that probably first. Just the main reason why I want to go get that paint is if I get the motor painted, and I get the gearbox painted, like today and tomorrow I can get it back in, and then I don't have to worry about it. It's in the chassis and it's, you know, that part of it's ready to go. That's why I want to go get it. I've got plenty of black, so I just need the colour for the motor. you know, and be done with it. I might get them to mix me 2 cans, just in case. Because I know we struggled with one with that other motor, but at least it was already kind of that colour. Or just we were repainting it because it had been sitting around for so long. But yeah, I think I might get 2, at least then it's done. Alright, we'll catch you after lunch. Righty, so I've got this thing partly stripped down. It's actually quite funny, a lot of these bolts and nuts were loose on this thing. Like the carburetor had been off at some point, and I took the, what do you want to call it, the vacuum tank off and the fan, and I've taped up a bit of stuff. I've got a little piece of cardboard like holding places where I don't want to get this colour. I don't know if it's really the right colour either. I wanted something a little bit greener than that, but we'll look through a whole heap of friggin', what do you want to call it, like the colour charts, and just found something that looked like it was close from the photos, from a photo of the colour that I could see off the motor, plus some engines that have been painted that colour, and this actually looked greener on the chart. Looks more creamy yellow on here, but oh, it is what it is. I've seen them, look, for all the photos I've looked through, there are a freaking 1,000 colours, and I tried to get something that would look like it was close. A little bit greener would have been nicer, but it is what it is. There's a couple of parts in here that might end up back black, like the filler, but I don't really want to take it off, if you know what I mean. So I'll try and mist around it, and then later on I'll put a bit of cardboard around it and maybe put a bit of tape around the engine block and just blow it back in black. Not sure about that bracket that holds that. I think it's meant to be black too. There's probably lots of things meant to be black on here, but I think maybe the sump's meant to be black, I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll paint the bulk of it yellow. I might mist, just if I get paint on the sump, I might, you know, I don't think I'll panic, but what I might do is, if we can get it up in the ear or something like that, I might just blow a bit of black in around the bottom, just a whole bit of cardboard around the edge of it and dust it in black. We'll see how easy, and I want to paint some of the bits on the generator starter black. So yeah, as well. But yeah, some of the other bits I'll paint black. Obviously, I'll paint the fan black, and yeah, some of the other kind of bits and pieces will tart back out black, just so it blends in a bit better. But yeah, so I'll flick the etch on there. It's drying pretty quick, so I'll just give it a few minutes, and then I'll shake this up, and we'll start spraying it this, I guess, yellowy, creamy yellow, green, whatever colours it ends up being. Hopefully it'll dry a little bit darker than what it's meant to. It'll look a little bit greener, but we'll see what it looks like at the end. Yeah, it kind of is what it is. I went there and got a couple of cans mixed just in case, but I run out with one, but depending on how well it covers. But yeah, we'll give it a few coats and we'll call it done, basically. Flick the bits black that we want black, and maybe tomorrow. And yeah, paint the gearbox and bolt it back together, and yeah, he can pray that it all works properly. Yeah, it is what it is. If you don't get the opportunity to do things well, properly, you know, what do you do? Like even all those pins on that gearbox, all the flywheel look like they don't look too bad, some of them, but some look like they've had a fair hammering from where the clutch has been smashing against it. So who knows, you know, like that's probably sort of things you might have replaced, but it is what it is. I ain't going to start chasing all these bits if he doesn't want me to and he doesn't want to pay for it, so you just do what you do. Do what you can do. Oh well, there's the first dusting in, I guess you'd call it. We'll let that cure up for a few minutes, and then we'll go pour another one on there. Yeah, it's probably not too bad. Be interesting to see what it looks like when it's got a couple of coats on there. I'm glad I got a couple of cans because she sort of sprays her out fairly quick. Hopefully it looks alright when we're finished. Like I said, we probably might end up painting the sump black. Again with rattle can. And like that spout, the oil filler, probably paint that black, and I'll eventually probably paint the starter black, starter generator, if I can. A few other bits and pieces, but yeah. It's probably not too bad for colour, kind of. Probably the, because I did give it a coat of edge, so probably the edge is probably coming through a little bit, it makes it look a little bit greener, but by the time if you got a few coats in there, should be right. She'll blend herself in. But yeah. It'll definitely tidy things up. At least it'll look half decent. See, like the cap off the generator and bits over there, like I just popped them off and poked them over in the corner and taped it up. And, well, not the generator, the mag. A few bits and pieces like that. Just pop them out of the road. But yeah, we'll keep painting. Right, so that's a couple of good coats. I'm glad I definitely got 2 cans. It's going to take, because the colour keeps bleeding back through. I might just have to let it dry for a bit and seal it up, because you can see the etch is trying to come back through the paint, I think. It's like that. Mind you, there was a lot of raw cast there, so it's probably soaking it up pretty good too. But yeah, that's not too bad. I wish it was a touch greener, a wee bit more eggshelly sort of type colour, but sort of eggshell, sort of greeny blue, but not too much blue. It was more of a yellowy green, but it's not bad. It's not too bad. Now I'll sort of look at it from what I could see on there with a couple of coats. It doesn't look that bad actually. For what it is, you know. But yeah, we'll just let that. I think we'll let that cure up for a while. We might leave it for half an hour or so, or a bit more, and then shake the other can up and hit it with another coat and see how it comes up. Right. So I think that's coat 4. It's not looking too bad. I've got a bit left. I think what I'll do is, once it's dry, probably tomorrow, might lift it up and a bit higher with the rope around it and just have a good look around and just dust it in a few other places. And then we will probably mask some of the other stuff off and paint all the other bits black. I need to paint black and put the other stuff on. I know that all that shit will burn off the exhaust manifold pretty quick, so I'm not too panicked about that when it's running. I might tape off and mist some black on there. I've got some heat proof. It'll probably burn off anyway, because I know the stuff that we put on the Studebaker is starting to burn off. So it can't be that good, but yeah, that looks a lot better. So yeah, we'll just leave that overnight and let it cure, and yeah, we'll dust a little bit on there tomorrow. It still looks a bit thin in places, but there's not much I can do about it. Probably got enough for another coat if I'm lucky. But yeah, I wish it was just a touch greener, but at least it doesn't look that bad on the phone. Kind of looks green. It's more creamy yellow, but it's not actually that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It probably really needs another coat around the front. But by the time you get the brick and everything in there. You got the radiator covering half of it and whatever, and belts and whatever. Most of it you're not going to see. That's cool. We'll let that dry up and tackle it again tomorrow. Alrighty, morning guys. So I'm just in the midst of misting and some of the black stuff. So yeah, like I painted the sump reasonably well. Like I've got still got dust in the front a little bit at the bottom, just so it looks way better. And I've still got to unmask other stuff. So just painted the oil filler, just put a bit of tape around there and put that bit of cardboard in, and we'll take this off, and we'll probably end up taping around here and then drooping the cardboard in there and put a bit of tape around it and just dust some of this in black. Probably this pulley or whatever this works. I guess it's probably just to drive for the water pump. We'll dust that in black. Some of this I might have to go back over actually with some yellow. It looks a bit, it's almost like the paint's been soaked up a heap by the thing. So some of the worst areas I might just paint a wee bit more yellow on, or that creamy yellow. But I think by the time we get it, all the other bits dusted in black, and maybe just touch it up a little bit, and it should be quite good. So I'm just going to let that stuff dry off so I can give some of it another coat. I'll give this fan a bit more of a clean up. Just install some guns and shit on there that hasn't come off. And I'll paint that black. I was going to paint the gearbox, but still a lot of dirt and grease around there that he hasn't got off. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there. I might just dust the cross member in black. And then when I've got it actually in the car, I might, I don't know, just misting around it a bit. It's kind of like quite dirty down here and still. He hasn't done a very good job of getting all that shit off. And so yeah, it might just get a bit of a dusting, paint the handles and that a bit better and whatever, some gloss. But yeah, I was going to mix up some paint and paint it black, but it's not clean enough. So yeah, we'll paint the cross member with some gloss, and yeah, I was hoping it was a bit cleaner than that, but now they've had a decent look at it today. It is cleaned up pretty well, but because he hadn't scraped a lot of this extra shit off down low and stuff like that, and probably if you tipped it on its end, he might have got it a bit cleaner, but yeah. Oh, he cleaned it, so you can't blame me, if you know what I mean. I just said I'd acid wash it and get it prepped for paint, but he hasn't got it down far enough to get it clean, and I'm not spending hours. I'm not getting paid enough to do it. We're having issues anyway, but yeah, so that looks better. We'll get a few bits and pieces tarted up on it. We'll do that fan now so I can get some of that stuff back on. I don't want to leave it up hanging here too long, but enough to let that paint dry, and then I can set it back down on the bottom of the sump. Won't be much paint right on the bottom. I'll probably want to get everything back in the car. I might just go underneath here and just dust a little bit underneath on the sump itself, because I know there would be bare patches. I'm not lifting the thing 20 foot in the air, the way it's sort of perched there. I tried to do it the best I could with that chain to sort of risk it so I could hang it. Yeah, I don't want to move it around anywhere or anything like that, but I think it'd be safe enough just to hang there for a while. But yeah, we'll get it cleaned up, and yeah, I'll go around some of these other pieces and just have a wee look and just see whether they need some paint on them or whatever. Righty, so I just etched those 4 panels. I haven't got the rear fenders prepped enough to do that. That's cool. It's basically all mixed up, was enough just to do them. So that's cool. So they're etched ready for body filler. You know, like there's lots of different people say lots of different things about that. You know, some people put body filler direct to metal and all that sort of stuff, and you know, like there's 1,000 different ways to do it. You know, what way's correct, what way's not, who knows, but I just, from experience here in New Zealand, with our climate, I don't like putting body filler direct to metal. You can, but I just find that when the body filler goes off, you know, and I'm talking a long time ago experiences, like modern day body fillers might be different, but just sometimes if you got a bit of moisture in the ear, and even if the panel is clean, sometimes it's just enough might be enough moisture on the panel, and you put the body filler on, that when it goes off it sweats, and then over time it rusts in between and breaks off. You know, and you get that rot in between the body filler and the bare steel. Whereas, you know, if you just put a bit of etch on there, 9 times out of 10 you don't end up with that problem. It just depends on where you are, I guess. You know, if you got a constant heat workshop, you know, that might be a different scenario. You mightn't have those problems, but just the way I like to do it, you know. No, Arco does it direct to metal, but it has workshops always heated, so everything's always a constant temperature, where the temperature's changing here all the time. No, I don't have direct heat. We don't really need it here. You know, sometimes in the winter it would be nice, but we don't have the extremes like they do. You know, it's not negative freaking 25°C in the middle of winter time here. You know, it might get down, you know, a little bit below freezing level, but we don't normally get down to those extremes, and I can just flick the heater on for a while if I have to, just to lift the temperature, so I can do stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, it's just one of those things. It's something, you know, I just learned from experience over the years. You know, just you'd see body filler come off a panel and it'd rust underneath. So just one of those things, you know, I just picked up from other people to etch or to epoxy or whatever. You know, there's a million different ways you can do that too. You know, some people like using 2-pack epoxies and whatever. This is a 2-pack etch. I've used single stage etch too and never had a problem. So, you know, it's one of those things time will tell, you know, 10 years, 15 years down the track. You know, it'll tell you, you know, and that's sometimes, you know, where you might learn something different in between times, and, you know, you might come back to that car and never have a problem, and then the next one you'll have a problem. So it's one of those things you just never know. That's just what I like to do. But anyway, so I etched. I'm just going to go check the paint on that, see how dry it is, maybe give the black another mist, to make it look a bit better, just in case. I did flick a little bit of extra yellow on spots before too, trying to keep it away from the black, but I just actually used the satin on here in the end, because I didn't have a much gloss left. And the gloss, I got a little bit, but not a lot. But anyway, we might demask some of this and then remask some of this and paint some of that generator black. You know, just make this look tidier, and stuff like that. So now that I've etched, I'll let them cure off, and then I'll actually move them out. I'll probably move them over here, probably have a clean up. I'll move that those bits for the seats for that out of the road. I might just sit those panels down in here for a bit and get these other panels cleaned up and etch them as well, and then we'll come back to it and start putting body filler on and whatever later on. Probably not. It might not be. It probably won't be today, but you know, maybe tomorrow or something like that. You know, we might actually start spreading some mud on those. I still know I've still got to do those pieces down the bottom, but I can keep away from that area. I can mud everything else, and because I'm going to try to attempt to bead roll that indirect. I've still got the old pieces here so I can see where it's meant to be. It's somewhere in this area, so I won't end up bead rolling. Yeah, it's in here, so I won't end up bead rolling that directly in and then hammer around it and see. But no, we can mud the rest of it, if you know what I mean, where it needs. Also, we're going to have to do down here because it's a bit pitted. Smear a little bit down that seam and whatever. It's just the way it is, you know. But should be right. And mud through here. It's probably going to have, the whole thing is probably going to have a scrape of mud somewhere. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Oh, so just cleaned the fan up and painted it. So now I'm going to just have a quick another look over here. See if I need to tidy anything else up on here. Right, so I've dropped that back in the ground. I haven't put the fan on it because it's still a bit soft, but I've just hung it on the piece. I've got to pull the bolt out and slide it on properly. Later, I think I'll be able to pull off the other side too, but I'll wait till it's a bit more dry. May end up putting a lot of that stuff back on once it's slipped in the frame. But I think what I'm going to do now, I don't know, I'm just half debating whether to do some stuff with the doors or what I might do is, because I've got to do brick and welding in here too. I'm all over the place at the moment. But I'm thinking what I might do is mix up some body filler and start skimming this stuff, and so at least I can move backwards and forwards between the stuff with the doors. You know, if I've got primer or etch or whatever on them, these are sort of the next level, next step ahead, so I don't have everything all at one stage. I've still got to clean this stuff up. I haven't done that yet either, but I'm just contemplating. I might start with the valances. I might move these two fenders over there, or at least one of them, so I can use two panel stands. And I might skim these valances. So that's the one I made, that's the one I repaired. So yeah, we might skim them, and at least then at some stage we can start blocking them out. That should be pretty good to go. Yeah. I'll just give it a very light scuff with a clean Scotch-Brite before I put anything on. Should be pretty good though, because this etches, like I only sprayed it on this morning. But yeah, I think we'll just start skimming. Righty. So I'm going to mix up, I don't know, mix up a reasonable amount of body filler, and we'll get a lighter skim across there. Be a fairly light. It shouldn't need to be too heavy. Like obviously where I've done a lot of the hammer and doling and welded panels in and a bit of shaping, I'll have to do a bit around here, but hopefully it's not going to be too bad out here. And I didn't need a skim along here because we did a bit of panel beating out here as well. But yeah, we'll smear a bit on where I think it needs it, and we'll just go from there, I guess. And then I'll see how much of it left, and then I'll do the other one. But this is my first time using this stuff, so we'll see what we think. Oh, brother, first time using the old maxi fill, so I've just done the initial sort of spreads on here. So we'll let that cure off and then knock it back and go from there. So but now I'm going to go beat on some more door stuff. Righty. So, got some, I actually like something coarser, but I just realised that I haven't got a roll of coarse paper here. I've got 80 on here at the moment. I would actually prefer probably just 40 or 60 just for initial block out, but I'll just use what I've got in the meantime. I have to get some. Reasonably impressed. It's not one of those things, you know. Wasn't really sure to what to expect. I don't know, Arco said it's pretty nice to sand. Definitely is. Is it leaps and bounds ahead of anything else? Don't know. Time will tell. I do like the Evercoat Rage Gold. Not quite so sold on the Z grip. I think it's a little tougher to sand. The Rage Gold's pretty reasonable. Worst thing is it's been a while since I've done that. Like it's over 12 months since I did all the body work and that, so it's a bit hard to compare when you're that far apart, if you know what I mean. But it knocked off pretty easy. I actually just run over it quickly with this with a speed file. I just did that a few times just to knock all the excess shit off, which whacked off, come off pretty good. Sometimes you find if you get a few lumps and bits and pieces on no body fill, if it's something that's really hard, it can take a while to get rid of that shit, but it actually knocked off pretty fast. So that's good. You know, I've only just started with this. I had a bit of that brown paper on there for a start off. It's really it sucks that that shit's so average, very average. It's okay, but it's average. It's fucking hard to beat the 3M. Anyway. So I got the second hit of body filler on there. It was starting to go off on me when I was starting to get on here, and I didn't quite have enough mixed up anyway, but it doesn't matter. We'll get it in the, in the third clean up, I guess, and we'll get this knocked back. I actually got this pretty good. Probably apart from it needs a bit more down here, but this probably needs a little bit more as well. But we'll knock off what we got there, and then we'll reassess. It needs a little bit more, obviously, along here and whatever. I could mix up a little bit more, but I'd rather we'll just smash all that back again, and I don't know, whatever. If I do it tonight or tomorrow morning, not sure. I have to just check the time. But I think now I'll go over and play with doors again, and I think what I'll do is I'll get these two basically finished, and then we'll move on to obviously other body panels. We can do the rear fenders and whatever else. But yeah, we'll get these two basically blocked out with body filler, and then we'll go to the next lot, and I'll wait till I get quite a few pieces ready to go, and then I'll go around, make sure I'm really happy, and then we'll smash some high build on. But I'm going to make sure I'm really got them sort of pretty much dialed in before I put any high build on, and we'll smash a few good coats, and hopefully we'll only have to do sort of one good block out, and then maybe another couple of coats over top, or a couple of 3 coats over top, because I've got 8 litres of high build, and whatever. I'm going to try and do it all within what I've got here. I may have to get another can of body filler. We'll just have to see, see how far it goes. But yeah, because you use quite a bit doing that sort of thing. But it's a handmade panel. 100-year-old car. Not everything's perfectly straight. They're all reasonable, but that's fairly, beaten and pitted and whatever else, and we've done a few repairs and whatever. So, they're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But by the time we block most of that out, it's never ever. It's not thick at all. It's just enough to take the imperfections and waves out and make it look decent. So, and we'll do the same with everything else. Hopefully we don't need a whole heap in it, but you can only do what you can do. And we'll smash it out and hope for the best, and see if we can get it all in. I've got 2 cans of body filler. Hopefully I don't need 3, but it only goes so far, so yeah, but we'll try and get it all in. The 2 cans of high build primer. Should be able to. If I can get everything done with the first can for that first initial hit, and get a few good coats on everything, and then we can block the crap out of it, and then obviously come back and hit it again, and hopefully we don't have to do any more filling or anything stupid. I'm trying to avoid that this round, see if we can we're more efficient. But yeah, we'll knock that back shortly. I'll check the time, go play for doors for a while, and then we'll come back and we'll smash the stuff either tonight or later on, first thing in the morning. Right, I managed to get this sanding back off. I'm not finished, but I've managed to get a fair way of it blocked back. So we'll keep going in the morning. I just want to see if I can get it back a bit further. See if I can get it down to, so you can see the grey of the metal coming through a bit more in the centre. Obviously we've got plenty of body filler in here still. I want to see if I can bring it back a bit more and keep it flat. Otherwise you just end up layering it up too much. You can see that we're coming through to grey in a few spots here, but I can go a bit more yet. So we get more of it out. Obviously do the same on there. Obviously to, as much as you can. Get it all down to the same height. This isn't quite so bad, but I still want to block it out a bit more. Obviously, there's some parts that we can't take any further. We might have to just give it a wee tap with hammering a dolly just to pull that back a little bit. But yeah, we're coming right, a bit more blocking and a couple more, you know, a bit more of a light skim here and there. We should be coming up pretty good. So yeah, we'll hit it again tomorrow, and then we'll carry on with doors. I didn't actually get back to the doors that dried that quick. I gave it a quick rub there not long after I sat down and had a bit of a drink for 5 minutes, and I gave it a rub and it freaking come off pretty good. So I just started sanding again. But anyway, we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll keep blocking and keep working on these doors, see if we can get some of this other stuff ready to etch. Like, I've still got to clean those guards up and get the doors, a few more of the doors cleaned up to etch. So yeah, and hopefully that motor and box might be kind of ready to go in the next day or two. I'll let that paint cure up a bit more. Just let it harden up before we go sort of too much further with it. It's not too bad, but you can still feel it's sticky. It's not fully cured. So we'll just leave it for another day or whatever, and hopefully then we can pick it up without damaging it too much, if you know what I mean. And put everything together, and I'll have to hunt out the bolts and whatever and pop it all together and slip it in the back in the chassis, and you know, and then we'll tidy up that. I'll blow a bit of, probably what I'll do is a wire wheel, as much as around the bell housing sort of area, and that cross membrane, and we'll flick some cement and some black paint in where it just goes into the chassis, and then we'll tidy everything else up on there before we slip the body on. I don't know what's the way I'm going to do it, just so then I can get in and clean it up a bit, just get it a bit better clean up, and then I can fog it with some black and it'll look decent. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow.